Hello, it is working. I'm live. Hello, everyone. Good evening. How's everyone? So we've been stalled now for, 3 weeks in Bitcoin. Sideways underneath this weekly 50 moving average. Normally, I would say a weekly 50 moving average, the first time back to it in a downtrend, we would expect to see us bounce off it and head a little bit lower back to this sort of weekly 20 moving average, or at least retrace potentially 50% of the big up candle that we did. So, it's kind of funky how we've gone so sideways in such a short range. No pullbacks at all. It suggests a little bit of a short squeeze. And if we are in a short squeeze, well, let's take a look at the shorts versus longs, because this tells us quite a story. If we take a look at Bitcoin US dollar shorts here, you see how the shorts are rallying. And if we we'll put it on a daily chart, and if we overlay, compare the longs, we'll overlay them, you can see this massive divergence, and the market doesn't let very often everybody be right, not this many people. So these orange lines are the longs, and they are collapsing. So let's go back to our Bitcoin chart. So I think we can expect a shallow pullback here, but we've got a timing issue. So we'll go back to our Bitstamp, we'll take these off, we'll put our moving averages back on. Now, if this first rally off the lows in Bitcoin was our wave 1, and this is a wave 2, and we've just completed a wave 3, we're in wave 4. This is how long wave 2 took, and we can expect that wave 4 to take a similar amount of time. So if we go back to our weekly chart, how many weeks were we in correction here? 6 weeks. And so far we've had 3 weeks. So that means another 3 weeks of sideways correction, consolidation potentially, maybe 5 weeks. What's happened though is altcoins, normally when Bitcoin does this and it's kind of gently consolidating sideways, we would have seen some really decent moves in the altcoins, and we really haven't this time. And we really haven't seen a collapse. I would have thought normally that Tether FUD news would have collapsed Bitcoin, but we didn't even break the daily trend. When we look at our daily, we haven't broken the previous swing low. We're sitting right on the 20 moving average. Really not much going on. Where do I ultimately think we'll pull back to? The most common place to retrace to is the 38.2 fib. So in Bitcoin, that would be around 47.50, 47.46. And if we do a full 50% retrace of this swing, which I think is unlikely, we'll come back to 4,400. So if we lose this support, 4,750 is where I'm going to be looking to buy some more. So Bitcoin, a few more weeks of winter. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is one of my picks this week. I think Ethereum's been really beaten down. It's really underperformed Bitcoin. And I think it's one of the reasons that the alts have been struggling. But I really kind of like the setup that we've got going on here in Bitcoin. If this is a bull flag, then we've made an ABC equal measured move correction in Ethereum. That means that this leg of the correction lower and this one are equal. So I like it for that reason. I like it because we've pulled back to this 200 moving average and this 50 moving average. And look how Ethereum loves this daily 50 moving average. It's support, resistance, support, resistance. So important moving average for Ethereum. And I also like it because if I put fib retraces on these swings, and I go back to these lows, we've tagged this 382 fib, which, we had a pretty decent bounce from the 236 fib. So I'm looking for a decent bounce from ETH here. So I'm looking for a higher low. I'm looking for us to, or a double bottom or some kind of bottoming pattern and a rally in Ethereum back to the top of this wedge. So Hopefully that takes us back to around 172, and then hopefully a breakout and we see another leg higher in ETH. So that's why ETH is one of my top picks tonight, because it's made this ABC correction and because we're sitting on moving average support, and potentially we could see a nice rally from here. That's what I'm looking for, my confirmation. So whenever I've drawn an ABC correction, my confirmation that we've reversed is when we go past the 236 fib. So if I measure from this high to this low, then that 236 confirmation level for me is here. So I think back above 155, 156 again, I'd be excited about being long in ETH US dollar. Or if we take a look at it, yeah, the next time. So pretty close to it. So that's my pick there. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to lost my place here. Here we go. Just trying to see where I can have my order. So running order. Okay, next we're going to look at, because I get so many requests, next we're going to look at Bitcoin Cash. Are we potentially at a level where Bitcoin Cash could find some support and start turning higher again as well? That's the question on everybody's lips. Well, if we look at this, we look pretty similar to Ethereum. And so I'm going to say, yeah, we really could. We could find support from this 200 moving average. We could find support from these previous highs, and we really could rally from here. And if we go down to a 4-hour chart, something like an equal measured move or a nice fib retrace level here would add even more weight or confluence to this level that we're looking at. So if we measure this first swing and we overlay a tiny bit lower, and we've got our equal measured move at 227. I'm not sure that we will. You know, this is such strong support. So holding above 227 would be very interesting in Bitcoin Cash US dollar as well. And if I measure from this low here, let's see where we are in terms of fib retrace levels. We're right on the 50% of this most recent swing. So a lot of confluence of support here for Bitcoin Cash US dollar to find support around here and start to rally. So now we know we've got our level, how are we going to know that we've got a reversal? Well, there's a number of ways you can do it. So if this is our 15-minute, okay, if you consider that the downtrend is lower highs and lower lows, and this 15-minute downtrend, then our last swing lower was from this high. So if we're going to reverse this 15-minute downtrend and start going into a 15-minute uptrend, we have to take out this high, which is here, what, 239.80? So Bitcoin Cash are holding above 239.80. That would be a pretty good 15-minute reversal. I'm sure some of you are going, oh, but what about Tether? Let's see it against Tether. Same thing. So let's put regular candles on for a second. It's hard to see. You know, when you have a chart like this, when it's really gappy and you can't see where the highs and lows are, these Heikanashis, you know, are a bit of a lifesaver. So similar pattern here, I think, in Bitcoin Cash, ABC, Tether, for all of those people who are still using Tether. Let's go back to ABC, which I was looking at. Yeah. So for now, whilst we're not underneath this and we're just doing ABCs, we're still building a base here. And the risk is that we do that one more leg lower and we hit that ABC mark, which was around 230. But in this zone, I think that there is potential for Bitcoin Cash to find support. Just no evidence of it yet. And this kind of, to be honest, ABC says one more swing lower before we make a base. So a whole bunch of other things always make me think that we've stopped going down. A double bottom would make me think we'd stop going down. A swing failure pattern where we make a slightly marginal new low and then we recover sharply and come back to the highs, that would be a bullish reversal as well for Bitcoin Cash US dollar. at this price point. So Bitcoin Cash US dollar still going down, but at a level where we definitely could find some support. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is CND. And I confess this is the only one nobody asked for, but I put CND in. Mainly I put CND in because I really like this big wedge pattern that we're making here on the daily. I really like third touches of trend lines as trade ideas, and this, if we draw them from the lows, is a third touch of this trend line. It's also got that ABC look as well. We're starting to turn up higher in CND Bitcoin. So this is one of those ones where I would be looking for a reversal and see if we can turn it around. So if I look at it on a 4 hour, we've got a marginal new low here. You know, the same thing. We're going to flip the trend. We have to take out these prior highs at 337. But we are looking pretty well supported at CND. So this would be one to watch for me. Whatever you use for a setup or to get you in, that's what I'd be looking at. And I think, for me, I like to see the moving averages on the low time frame flip. So that would mean here, they're the wrong way around at the moment. That would mean here a rally and either a retest of the lows or a higher low pullback that flips in the right way and turns up higher again. So CND at a really good level to rally from as well. Next, we're going to look at BNB. We're going to look at BNB Bitcoin first, and we'll look at BNB dollar. If we look at BNB Bitcoin, in this big rally that we've had, I've been looking at fib projections from this first correction, and they've lined up the levels pretty nicely. This one here was a bit messy, but it was 41,795. And so when I'm kind of, when you get towards the end of a trend, it does get a little bit more choppy and overlapping, but I am looking for us to find support and hold this level if we can and carry on higher. It's not looking, well, it's not looking terribly bright at the moment, is it? But potentially we've just done another, just like all of the others, we've just done another ABC correction here, an equal measured move lower. This is our support level, and so in BNB, we could just go ABC and rally from here. What would be the trigger to be sure? Above this trend line and above these bunched up hourly moving averages. So I'm watching BNB Bitcoin, and I'm going to say that above 43,000, I would be a buyer in BNB Bitcoin. If we take a look at BNB US dollar Tether, got a similar thing, hourly thing going on here. On the daily, you can see we're kind of bunched up around these previous highs, the closing prices, this prior 886. These 886 fibs very often get back tested. So if we're going to stay in an uptrend, we're going to hold this level, we're going to hold the 20 moving average that we've ridden literally all the way up, and we're going to turn it around from here. If we do turn it around here from here in Binance Coin, Tether, then this upper trend line, this hourly 200 moving average is what has to break. And so I'm going to say probably above 23.2 would be a good sign that we are on the way higher with some momentum. And the next target for BNB Tether, we're looking at 27.91 and then 30.90. For BNB Bitcoin, remember, we're riding these funky fibs. It's 66,830 for the next swing higher. 66,830. Okay, I'm just catching up the comments. Longs and shorts on Finex are not so reliable with the theta issues. I'm not so sure that they are, but when I look at Bitcoin and the way it's behaving, it does kind of behave like a short squeeze. It really doesn't want to give anything back. So the biggest problem that has been how ETH has been underperforming Bitcoin, and the alts have really suffered. I think that we're coming up on a bullish Gartley pattern in ETH Bitcoin. When we get to around 82.94, a little bit lower, and then I think we should see a really good rally in Ethereum Bitcoin. Just sometimes these corrections take time, and that seems to be what we've been in, and it just feels weird that this time that we're doing this gentle correction in Bitcoin, that the alts are really not doing anything. It feels very weird. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is ADA. ADA's been pretty brutal with this correction, hasn't it? I've got ADA Tether here, but we'll start. In ADA Tether, I have been looking for this most recent swing higher, 50% of this and the daily 50 moving average to hold as support, and we've broken the daily 50 moving average today. We've broken down from this support today, and so I think it's more likely that we're headed back to the 200-day moving average. And I'm going to unlock and move these fib levels. Now we've gone past that 50%. And you know, if I look at this and I put them from the lows, which means the sequence is complete, the 618 and the 200 moving average are lined up at 54.84. We've got 50% of this rally here at 63.42. I think that that's potentially our next bounce level or pause level in this downtrend. But really, 54.84 is more likely where we're going to keep heading to in ADA Tether, which is a bit of a disappointment, to be honest. So let's see if we look any better in ADA Bitcoin. Not too bad. I got my fibs from the lows in this one, and we're at the 618, but this 200 moving average is a little bit lower. I think it's more likely that we continue lower and we tag that 200-day moving average. I'm going to take that off and say another swing lower and 1199 or 1200 next for ADA Bitcoin, which is where the 200 moving average is. No reason to buy this one yet. We're starting to see the CCI starts to look like it's got some divergence coming in. There's no divergence here. I'm going to put my RSI on. There's no divergence here on the 4-hour, but we're starting to see divergence here on the 4-hour ADA, which means for me, usually it's not a sign to buy it, but it means that we may pretty soon see a bottom and a reversal in this one. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, but not this week, I think, for ADA. Next one that's been requested is Atom. Cosmos or Atom. So I've got the Poloniex chart of this one up. From the highs, we've rallied twice to this 382 fib level. We're making, you see this very often in new issued coins. You make big ABC patterns and you kind of grind along sideways until you work stuff out. Now, if we do another leg lower here, that's 61.8 of that first leg. We've got a little bit lower till we come back to support. In terms of do I want to buy this right here, whilst we're bunched up underneath these hourly moving averages, and if we just say, I'm going to say probably not, and probably looking lower from here, and I really don't have anything to make me want to buy this yet. I think it's a range trade. So we could very well go all the way back to the bottom of the range. So if this is the top of our range here, bottom of our range, down around 57,000. If it dipped back there, we know the buyers are there, fill up the truck. But I think we just have to be patient for this one. No trend, so no reason to buy it. Unless you particularly like it for fundamental reasons and you want to load up. And if you do, then load up as close to the lows as you can. If we see where we are, here's a good indicator. So from this low, we're sitting on the 61.8 fib level. When you get classic indecision, you get in between the 618, 382. So 80,400 and 70. So 80,400 is our high of our range expected. And down here is the 618. I think we might bounce around in this range a little bit if we popped up the top, we're probably on our way higher again. If we break down these lows, we're probably going to retest the lows. But, you know, I really don't feel like I have any edge when it's trading sideways like this, to be honest, without a really kind of clear setup. So we'll look at that one next week and see if we've got a better entry in Atom. WABI. WABI, I keep looking at WABI in our group. After this really lovely bullish reversal off the lows last week, a massive bullish engulfing candle that took out 3 previous days, we've really traded sideways. I'm going to stay bullish because we're staying in the top half of this green candle. So if we drew the open close and said, as long as we stay in the top half on the daily close, we're bullish. That's what we've done. And we've held the daily 50 moving average. So everything for me, you know, says we should see another leg higher in WABI as long as we don't close below these lows. Or 6,300. So this is just sideways consolidation and quite annoying, to be honest. I keep thinking, oh, today's the day WABI's going to go. And it doesn't do it. Not only that, but it's quite a thin and crispy little coin to get in and out of when you do want to trade it as well. So we have to wait. If you want to put an alarm on WABI so you don't miss it, I'm going to take it from this high. This is an hourly chart to this low. I'm going to put my alarm on here. Like this. And then if WABI decides to make a run for it higher, then I'm going to get an alert and I can jump in. Hopefully. If they let you in. Good luck. So WABI, I think it's good support, but needs to start breaking higher in that one. Yeah. You know, when the moving average is all bunched up like this, it usually precedes a move. So we just have to wait. Polly says Cosmos was traded as an IOU till a few days ago. Probably the data before then is not so reliable. Okay, thank you, Polly. We'll wait. We'll take another look at it next week and see if we've got a setup or reason to buy it. The next one we're going to look at is was TNB. The most depressing thing at the moment, I think, is how few setups there are. Like, in all the time I've been doing this, you know, I've always like managed to find 3 that I kind of really like, and I would say, yeah, let's do it. It'll go for it. And I'm really struggling to find them at the moment, to be honest. Now, Time New Bank is maybe one that bucks the trend, because here in Time New Bank, when the daily moving averages cluster up like this, it really does normally precede a pretty decent move in a wedge or a breakout. So it's got the look, let's put it that way, but it's just not got any momentum to the upside yet. That's the problem. I like the look, I like the level, I think that it's got but it's just trading sideways. There's so little momentum out there. Now, if we are going to look for what might start a thing, I kind of, when I see a pattern like this and like this 200 moving average, and I think, let's see. I sometimes think, oh, you know, maybe this was an inverted head and shoulders pattern and we got a little bit of ahead of ourselves. I'm not a big fan of inverted head and shoulders patterns with sloping necklines, and this shoulder's now become kind of too big for me to like it as a pattern like that. So I'm thinking it's more likely that it will start as an ABC or 1, 2, 3. But clearly this hourly 200 moving average, when we get above it, we should see a change of behavior and a run at least to the top of the range. This is, you know, good support here, but just not really going anywhere until, yeah, another one. I think we just have to wait, unfortunately. So that's Time New Bank. Now Raven. I got a bit excited about Raven coin this week. For a couple of reasons. I notice very often, you know, when a market comes back and retests previous highs, it doesn't very often test the high, but it'll test the 886 fab. Tezos has done quite well. I'll try and put XTZ on the end for you, Raphael, if I can, and I'll try and do AI on as well. So that would mean 956 if we can hold that on a close, but we've dropped underneath it. Not only that, but I was looking from this low to high, 50% of this to hold a support here as well. I thought there was a whole bunch of reasons why this would be great support for Raven to rally from. We've just smashed back through it again. So we've got a much bigger correction underway in Raven. I'm going to take this off because we hit our targets in this. And I'm going to say, you know, we respected this 50%. We respected the 38.2. So 823 is the next support in Raven coin. And that's the 618 retrace. And really not much to do until we can get there. So let's wait and see. Crypto merchant. New all-time high in the third quarter 2019. I don't know about new all-time high, but we'll definitely be in the teens, like I think. So, yeah. I'm feeling quite bullish. Yes. And Gareth, ETC. I'll see if I can do that at the end. Where do I think ETH is going? Higher. I'll cover it again at the end. I did do ETH at the beginning. It's one of my picks. I think that we've made an ABC correction, so we should make a new monthly high or yearly high in Ethereum from here. And my first target is actually up here in ETH at 200. ETH really likes round numbers, so we're hanging around 150, and I think we've got a rally underway to 200 next. And so for Raven, yes, wait to 823 Dubravko rate. I think it's got further to go, 823. So the next one we're going to look at is CMC, which is Crown Machine. I confess, I have a little bag of Crown Machine. I did do BNB, yes, I did. I have a little bag of Crown Machine. I don't think the price is even on the chart where I bought it at. So, as you can see, I'm not infallible. However, there are signs of life. Most corrections are 3 waves. Even here, sometimes the second, so that means 1, 2, 3. Sometimes the third wave is shorter than the first wave. But as a general rule, corrections are 3 waves. So that means down here, even if this is just a correction in a downtrend, for Crown Machine, if this was our first bounce higher, and this is our second, then this third leg should go either to sort of 618 of the first leg, or maybe equal. If we go to the 618 level, we're going to go back to 100. If we go to the equal measured move, we go back to the previous fib level, and this is my favorite target, the equal measured move, and back to 150 or 157. So that's how I are looking at this. This is where I had an alert to see if I was gonna. I'm just gonna take my alert off because I don't need it anymore. It's actually worse. See this narrow range here? When we were at the bottom, I was looking for Crown Machine to break out from this narrow range, which is why I had my alert here. I'm just going to try and get it out of the way and delete it. There we go. Okay, so we've pulled back to these daily moving averages. We found support from them. Everything looks pretty good to me. We've almost got an hourly high or low, you know. Confirmation that we're back in an uptrend on an hourly would be back above this level here at 47. So remember, our targets are 150 or 100 for the next swing up in Crown Machine. Okay. Ashley McCleary says, well in at 39. Well done, Ashley. I know. This, like, when you see this at the bottom, and it works, this works really well in penny stocks and AIM stocks as well. Whenever you see something, find support and just do this sideways, bunched up. You know, that breakout is always a really good sign if you can get an alert of it. Or buy the pullback. So CMC, even if this is just a correction, I am expecting another leg higher from here. Let's go and look at MAID safe. I'm not sure who asked for this one. At the moment, this is MAID safe Bitcoin. Let's put regular candles on a daily chart. Very often, you know, when you collapse, very often the previous swing low becomes quite tough resistance. In this case, we've recovered that level. So potentially, especially if you looked at this on a weekly, you would say, oh, this is a bit of a weekly, you know, swing failure pattern here. And in fact, this is a weekly bullish hammer swing at this swing failure pattern level. Now, almost always these hammers will see a pullback. Sometimes you see the low all the way retested. In fact, I know some people that won't trade these kind of candlesticks until they see the bottom retested. So we've got a weekly hammer, bullish candlestick, and we're going to look for a retrace and then a turn higher again to trigger with this. I love this on the hourly moving averages, this look now, because here is our sideways range. We broke up above it. On the hourly, we're coming back to retest it, and I'm going to look for this to turn higher here as well. And then that should see us go back to the highs and trigger that weekly hammer candle in MAID. If we don't, so if we don't find support from this hourly 200 moving average, it's around 24.70. If we see these previous highs, if we break below those, this support level, I kind of don't think that this setup is going to work. This is really where I want to see MAID safe turn higher from, and then I'm going to say, yeah, exciting, I'll be a buyer. You know, because we're really trying to bottom picking in a move like this when it's only just recovered the level. It's not the problem is it's not the low. If we go to the weekly here in MAID safe, there is another low down here. So we could just lose this, it becomes resistance, and we carry on down to the low. So, Sophie, sorry. I'm frying Sophie's brain. Sorry, Sophie. So, we're looking for MAID safe to hold this support, turn up higher tonight or tomorrow, and hold this support level. Good luck. Where can we expect to go in MAID safe if we do that? Let's zoom out a bit here. I'm back on the daily chart of MAID safe, okay? I think we return to these highs in the 200 moving average. That seems to be a kind of pretty obvious pivot level through the middle, if you like. It's kind of around here, isn't it? 3,300, 3,400. If you're not sure, very often the most recent swing, complete swing, 50% back is where the market goes back to. So if we mark that from here, like this, and we mark where that 50% level is, there it is. It's right kind of on that level as well. So 313. If we hold support, would be your first resistance level or first target you should be looking for a rally in MAID safe. And if we fail there again, because just like we have before at this 200 moving average and turn lower, we are still in a downtrend in MAID safe. Okay. LBA is next. LBA, I think I may have put a typo. 1 second. Not sure anyone asked for LBA. Maybe it was LBC. 1 second. Maybe somebody did. Let's see. Oh, Larsy wanted LBA. Sorry, Lars. My mistake. I didn't get it ready either. LBA. So let's take a look at LBA Bitcoin. Libra credit, isn't it? But I think I had this here. This is not such a good day for LBA. This reversal here, back underneath the daily 20 moving average, held support for now. Let's have a look under the hood and see if we can hold it a bit better and see if it's that 113. It's starting to look. Gosh, so in fact what we've done in LBA is a very nice ABC correction. ABC equal measured moves. We've pulled back to this previous fib level, and on the daily, on regular candles, we made this really nice bullish hammer candle. So yeah, I would say held the lows pretty well and looking all right. But we have flattened out quite a lot. If we take a look at the 4-hour moving averages, they're all pretty flat, so it becomes a bit of a sideways range. So if you stay long, it becomes quite important that we break the top of the range. But yeah, looking pretty good, actually. Looking very good in Libra credit to go higher from here. Let's see how we look on an hourly. So whenever you've made an ABC correction like this, you really want to, your confirmation that it's turned is the 236 fib, and we're well above that. So yeah, I like everything. This should be support now. And back below 1,041 would say not going to work. So there we go. The next trouble level on the upside is 50% of the drop. And this hourly 200 moving average, which is 1123. So now we know our support is 1,041. Our next resistance is 1123. If we break that, we'll go back to the top of the range. And these highs really here. And then we can say, okay, next leg higher. Next leg higher. And I love, look how this lines up now. So the 1272 from this swing and the 1.618 from this big swing line up to give us our next target at 1360. So 1360 is our next upside target on the next swing higher for Libra credit or LBA. Looking good. Finally, you know, it's really been a really terrible week for altcoins. So, you know, just unusually awful for while Bitcoin is going sideways. So, okay, let's see what's next. Let's look at engine. Sorry, 1 second. ENJ. We're going to look at ENJ Bitcoin first of all, and then we'll look at ENJ against the dollar and see if that gives us any better. Now, this is one of those coins that has had a pretty good recovery off the lows, let's be honest. And let's go to regular candles. This had so much problem. You know, this, if you could just learn ABCs or equal measured moves in your trading, it will sometimes get you out of so much trouble, because this looked like, for me, for engine, this looked like such a great setup and ready to go up again. And this was a 61.8 fib retrace down here. And so we had this lovely rally and I was all set for engine to go higher. And we did the same thing, you know, 2 equal swings higher like this, and then engine just ran out of steam and back down again. Whenever you see that, it says it's corrective and not a new impulse move. So this now looks like some big funky correction, and we're not done. But not only that, but we're holding underneath these daily moving averages. So we're likely headed back potentially all the way to the 200 moving average. I don't think we'll go that far, but let's take some fib swings and see where we're at. Because if we really do lose this 618 fib level here, let me make everything the same color, then the 786 fib is going to be where we go next. So if we make new lows, we can look for 1873 next in engine. So dang it, that's not very good. I would breathe much easier if we take out these previous highs that are just the other side of that 50% level, and we turn the trend around like that, that would make me much more comfortable that we're going up again in engine. 3050, 3050 for now. Otherwise, I think the path of least resistance is lower and not doing terribly well. Okay, so next we're going to look at Litecoin. Did I miss Litecoin? Okay. Litecoin dollar. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. So Litecoin US dollar. You know, in this in the big rally that started, Litecoin was really, you know, the leader. And this correction in Litecoin has been the leader as well. My concern with Litecoin, and let's zoom out on this daily. Okay, I took the last swing higher. If we take the last big swing lower in Litecoin, we stopped at the 50% level and these prior lows. I'm going to tidy up my chart because it's messy. I think that we're going to come back, therefore, let's take that away as well. I think that we're therefore going to come back 50% of this rally. You know, we tried very hard for a couple of days to hold this 38.2 level and to hold the daily 50 moving average, and we really couldn't do it. And when we look at where the 50% is now, look how it really lines up very well with these previous highs, swing highs. So that's at 61.07 in Coinbase. Coinbase has the biggest volume for Litecoin, so I think it's quite reliable, and I like it for that reason. So 61 is where we're headed to, unless we can recover 70.23. So further to fall, unfortunately, in Litecoin US dollar to 61. So again, if we take a look at, keep an eye on this one, because when, you know, this 50% back, and this is really good support, like these fib levels, if we start to see this turn higher, even if Bitcoin's just been going sideways this whole time, once Litecoin turns and starts ripping up again, it would be a really good early warning for Bitcoin. It's been a leader really since the end of last year. Okay, next one we're going to look at is Dragon and then IOTA. I can't remember who asked for Dragon. Andy Ward. Hello, Andy Ward. Dragon chain. So I can see why you're asking for this Dragon chain. Just like, what did we look at earlier? If we take this swing low and use this as fib projections for where we're going lower, very often that 886 fib, I can't tell you how many times that's resistance on a back test. So that's our level, 1908. Even if we didn't do that, okay, and we did the fib going the other way, let's take that away. And we did 236 back from the highs, or this swing, last swing higher. We're above that, you know, we should carry on. So at the moment, let's just say we've got a bounce and a downtrend, but it's not enough to flip the trend. Certainly not on the daily. How are we doing on the hourly? Well, if this was our hourly trend, then this is the high that we've got to get above to flip our hourly downtrend, isn't it? So not quite there yet, but I'm hopeful. Now, this pullback to these hourly moving averages, if we did something like this here, we could see potentially an inverted head and shoulders pattern. That would be quite a cool bottoming pattern. Otherwise, we may need to wait and see a retest of the lows, a full retest of the lows in Dragon. No reason, honestly, I hate to say this, but there's really no reason to buy it because it's still in a downtrend until it starts doing something like that to say that it's going up again. Sorry. It's just too risky, you know. Let's try and catch it like that. Yeah, it's a bit messy. I'm going to stick with that 886 fib. And we're going to say 1908. If we get above 1908, rock and roll, we should go higher. So in Dragon, just wait and see if it makes a bit of a base here. Okay. I'm a little bit concerned that I haven't done TRX, Daleks, maybe. So I'm going to quickly, no, I did do TRX. I think I'm okay. Litecoin, Dragon and IOTA. So IOTA's next. Now, what a great move IOTA had today on that news about Jaguar cars. And then, of course, there was another car. So here's our daily chart. We're going to do Dragon. We're going to do, IOTA Bitcoin first. This is our most recent swing lower. Normally, once you go past the 236 fib, you're usually going to retrace 38.2 or 50%. So we're looking quite good. We've also gone back above our daily 20 moving average. So we've also gone back below this spike low that I would have expected to be resistance. So now all these confluence of things I'm now expecting to be support. So 72.90. If we're going to squeeze higher in IOTA Bitcoin, 72.90 is now support. And I'm looking for us to keep going higher from here to 55.80 and 72.280 next in IOTA Bitcoin. And if we can go past 50% of the last swing lower, we can start looking, we can move our fibs all the way up and say, okay, where's our big 236 going to come in? Okay, but for now, we're just going to say, right, 50% of this last swing is probably where we should be looking to first. And this is our last swing lower here. Okay, looks good, but not quite a trend reversal yet. Oh, don't forget game. Did I forget game as well? I'm completely useless. Yeah, I got to do game. Game. Now, why do I like game? Well, game is a little bit like ETH, but better. First of all, so if we had our rally, now we've had our ABC pullback, and I'm looking for another leg of rally again in game. And because this first swing came back to a 61.8, and this second swing where we've got an equal ABC lines up at this 786 fib here, this is called a Gartley pattern. And a Gartley pattern normally projects new highs. So we've got a bullish Gartley pattern at 1886. If it fails, it's still going to fail at 12,900. So we're looking for a bullish reversal at this level in game. Our first target is here at 2,900. And our second target is up here. I'm going to just do the same thing. Equal is 43.44. Okay, so here we've got ABC game. So on the hourly, when I look at the hourly consolidation here, I'm looking for this hourly consolidation to break to the upside and give me a decent move higher from here it's not really a head and shoulders pattern, it's really just a consolidation range. But I really do like how for the last 5 days we've held this support level at 1886 in game. So I think my early warning is going to be above this hourly 200 moving average. So I'm looking for a move from 1886 to 2,900 in game. That's why I like it. Game is my second pick tonight after ETH. So I like ETH and game this week. They're my favourite ones. Now I'm going to look for a couple more. XTZ or Tezos. Let's do XTZ if I can find it. Because I do like Tezos. Let's see. So we're going to start as usual on the daily. I have to, you know, sometimes an AI on, I'll do AI on. Sometimes I just don't know where we're going to go next. And I'm going to tell the truth, this one in Tezos, I just don't know. I do think that this was a big wave 1. This was a wave 2. So we're in a very similar position to Bitcoin. And we've just done a big wave 3. And this is an irregular wave 4. So this is our first leg of correction. Now we do another one before we turn and continue higher in Tezos. So where does that mean we probably come back to? We shouldn't come back below here. We shouldn't make a new low. We shouldn't go below 16,500. And potentially, though, we could go a little bit lower from here. 17,413 if we don't hold this 618 level that we're sitting on. So here's the 618 level that we're sitting on. 21,113. We're looking to rally from here, but if we don't, 17,413 is where we're probably going to fall back to. And these prior lows. So let's go lower and have a look how we're doing. Well, it looks okay at this level so far, doesn't it? But it's not quite boom gone higher yet. And we know where we're wrong. If we drop back below here again, we are a little bit wrong and we're going to go a little bit lower. So I didn't do TRX, did I? Thank you very much, Crypto Lady. Now, again, this to me looks like we're starting a new swing higher in XTZ. So if we are going to do that, let's get us above this 2144. It looks, yeah. So far, I think so good, and we're holding this level. So it's a good cheap place. So here's the thing. You know you're wrong if we drop below 21,000. So it's quite a cheap place to pick up some XTZ if that's the one you like. Because there is a very good chance that we have a rally from here and we turn higher. Yeah. 2 levels then. Okay, a ION. So this is the big fat daily range, isn't it, in AI on? If we were going to, if we wanted this to become a big inverted head and shoulders, then this pink level from the left-hand side would be the ideal right sort of shoulder level, wouldn't it? If we were going to buy the right shoulder, which, let's face it, is the best place to buy an inverted head and shoulders. And so that means that we need to start seeing some evidence of a bottom to buy on lower time frames. This was great, but we're all the way back retesting it, which is a bit annoying. So now we have to see if we're going to hold these lows and turn higher again or not. And we may not. So I'm sitting on my hands in a ION. And let's see if 300, 311 holds up on a retest next time. It looks like we're just about to turn down and do it again. So fingers crossed. If I zoom out to a 4 hour, apart from this being, you know, clearly a really good support and resistance level all the way back, I can't really, you know, this is a downtrend and we could turn into just a big sideways range and head all the way back to the lows. So we need to be a little bit careful and see a really, you know, a really good sign of a turnaround at the bottom yet. It's a good level to do it. Just like a lot of coins, it's a good level for AI on to turn higher. It's cheap. You know, if we drop back below 310, you're wrong. So we're just watching for that turn up in AI on here. I'm going to do Ethereum Classic and we're going to do Ethereum Classic and Neo, and I forgot to do TRX. So Crypto Lady. So we'll take a quick look at TRON. Now, a couple of times in my group, we tried to buy TRON, and it hasn't done so well. It looks really good for a bounce off this 200-day moving average. It did all the right things, and then we lost it. In terms of fibs, we've gone from a 618 to a 236. You would normally expect a bounce from here, but we're not seeing it. So maybe we keep looking for signs that TRX is going to do the right thing and find a bottom. Now, when you draw fib, this is a good lesson. When you draw fib levels, sometimes you draw them on and it's like, gosh, did it even work? Is this the right one? I think that this probably is, because up here they did, and this 50% worked. In which case, potentially we're going to go all the way to 387 next. But it's not perfect for me. So I'm going to put this big swing on. And we'll call these support and resistance up here at these highs. So a whole bunch of, and now this 786 lines up here as well. So there's a whole bunch of confluence just a little bit lower, isn't there, for TRON Bitcoin? Somewhere between 390 and 400 is where we're probably coming back to. There's one other way to do it. We'll project from this correction. Now, if we do that, we are sitting on a 1.618 here already, and we aren't going to go lower. So we've got two levels. If we hold this 1.618 level, we could rally from here. If we don't and we continue to fall, then we're looking for 390 to 400 for support in TRON Bitcoin, TRX Bitcoin. Still in a downtrend then until this turns this around. Gosh. Okay, no problem, Crypto Lady. I just wish it was better news. Some good news is, you know, corrections are normally, or at least 3 waves. We've only done one up and we've gone ABC back. So we could, you know, we've gone one up, ABC back. We could very easily turn and rally from here and hold this support. But if we don't, then a little bit further to go for TRX. Okay. We're gonna look at Ethereum Classic, Neo, and then DNT. So Ethereum Classic. This is such a proper go the opposite coin, this Ethereum Classic, isn't it? I don't know why I've got the Tether chart going on here, but all of these daily moving averages all packed together right in the same place. This is a great place to find some support. But, so for sure, Ethereum Classic. The problem is you think that and then you go look down at this 4-hour chart, and when you see this, okay, so this pattern all the way down in Ethereum Classic has been a sharp, let me draw it, a sharp drop, and then choppy overlapping correction, sharp drop, choppy overlapping correction. This is what downtrends look like. And so whilst we've still got this sharp drop and this choppy overlapping thing going on, this doesn't say we've made a bottom in Ethereum Classic yet. What would be good here would be if we broke this, like this, sharp drop, and then we make a bit of a base here, and then we reverse it. So we have a sharp rally and then a choppy overlapping pullback. And then we can say, oh, we've reversed the trend. But for now, we can see just with our Mark 1 eyeball that this is not, you know, any kind of a bullish turn here yet. So I'm going to say one more test to the lows maybe, and it may be we come down to sort of 5.06 in Ethereum Classic Tether. If we do Ethereum Classic Bitcoin, maybe we're looking a bit better, and it's just, well, we are looking a little bit better, aren't we? And it's a nice double bottom, so let's tidy up this chart. Well, proper range trade then here in Ethereum Classic and off the lows. So very nice low risk reward to be getting long of Ethereum Classic. And this lovely swing, it does look much better against Bitcoin. This lovely swing, we will have confirmed the reversal when we get above this 236 fib level here. So we'll do that. Take them away. And so above 1,098 would be a bullish reversal. And it is, Crypto Lady, a cheap buy. You know where you're wrong, because you know if we break these lows, you're wrong, below 970. So yeah, and sometimes, I don't know, if Ethereum goes up, so does Ethereum Classic. Funny that. Perhaps people... I saw something really funny once, you know, with a stock, and there was one ticker that looked like it should be the ticker for that stock, but it wasn't. It was another one, and some news came out, and everybody bought the wrong ticker. And so sometimes I think, you know, with Ethereum, people buy Ethereum Classic and get them confused. People that, you know, anyway. I'm sure that doesn't happen. Let's look at DNT then. NEO and then DNT. So now NEO Ant shares. Okay. So we've been now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days sideways at this fib 886 level. 6 days. So potentially we could see a rally from here. In Fibonacci little rules thingy, if you reverse at an 886 fib, your target is back to the 50%, 2208. So our target, if we can get a bullish reversal here in NEO, Bitcoin is back to 2208. And the confirmation that we've done it is getting back above the fib above us, which is this 786 at 1901. So 1901 is where we've got to get above, and then that's our trade. The meat, if you like, in the sandwich is from here to here. Next. So lots to like about this. Let's see if we've got our getting it on. Yeah, it's not going up, it's not going down. It's a bit like Bitcoin. But, you know, if Bitcoin goes up whilst you're going sideways against Bitcoin, you're making lots of money, so that's fine. But yeah, NEO Bitcoin, sideways range, we're cheap. We know where we're wrong at these lows. And then we're going to retest the all-time lows. And above 1901, we've got a really nice long trade to 2,200, $300 of upside, 300 sat of upside. Okay, let's take a quick peek at NEO US dollar. Make sure it's not actually collapsing. And no, it's not. It's just going sideways in this one too. So that's all good. The resistance in this one is a little bit higher. These moving 10.5 if you're looking at NEO US dollar. Okay, and we're going to look at DNT. There's lots to like at this level, isn't there, in DNT? Bottom of the range, been here before. And we've got this proper sort of ABC, you know, top of the range, bottom of the range. So this is, again, just like a lot that we've seen tonight. This is a cheap buy level to get in. It's a cheap place to get in. We haven't quite tagged the previous low at 260. Sometimes we don't, and it gets a little bit front run. Whenever you see a double bottom, though, it's stopped going down. So we've stopped going down. Now, if we get a break above these highs, then we are going up. But, yeah. So DNT maybe down here. Pretty good maybe. But not quite the bullish reversal pattern that we need yet. So let's have a look. Let's see. EDR Bitcoin looks tasty, does it? Okay. EDR Endor Bitcoin looks tasty. It would be tasty if it could hold the lows. It's looking quite just, yeah. You know, whenever, yeah, you need, first of all, you need to stop going down. So if we double bottom here, we've stopped going down. And then we need to turn around and recover. So we've got these highs here. Let's see, in Endor. Not quite there yet. Like another one, you know, just not quite enough of a look yet for me. EDR Bitcoin. And Beam, let's see. Beam looks bottomless. I haven't got a Beam here on TradingView. Poly, is it a different ticker maybe? I'll look at it next week on, I'll look at it on coin, hold on. We'll take a look at Beam here. Beam Bitcoin. Blimey, it is a little bit bottomless, isn't it? A nice little 1618 here would be good. Gone through that. 2. Or the 2.24. Yeah. Well, I don't want to say it's bottomless, but and it doesn't mean that we can't start seeing signs of a reversal here. Clearly, we've stopped going down and we're going sideways for a little bit. Double bottom, double top. So whenever we break that, which it's, are we trying to do it? We might be. If we can do that and get out the top of this sideways range, then back to the 200 moving average and then back above that 200 moving average and hold above it, we might be able to turn it around. But for now, yeah, it's just sideways in a downtrend at the moment. And I don't really have a good enough level here to say this might be the bottom. So, yeah, sorry about that. So many altcoins getting crushed. Okay, so my favorites tonight were Ethereum, because I think we made a really nice ABC correction, equal legs like this. And I think that we're at the bottom of a descending channel. So I'm looking for a rally in Ethereum. And I think that probably GAME has got a really good level and a bullish Gartley pattern that I'd like to see reverse. But yeah, one of those weeks where even though Bitcoin is pretty quiet, just the altcoins are not having it. So I don't know why. Okay, good night everyone. Thanks for coming.